All right, hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Power Up with Pride 2022. Hope you all are having a great Sunday afternoon. Up next, we've got Bonk's Adventure featuring lattmackey. Take it away.
Hello, everybody. Hope everyone's having a good Power Up with Pride. Thank you so much for having our little game here. My name's lattmackey, and we're going to play some Bonk's Adventure. Yes, in this run, you can actually use bonk as a noun and a verb. So, that's something for us. I don't know what that means, but we're going to try and make something of it. I am joined today by the current world record holder, but over the course of the last year and a half or so, there's actually been some fun back and forth between Great John, who's joining me today. Hey, John, how you doing?
Hey, what's up?
And also Princess Za, who y'all were trading some world records back and forth. It was really kind of fun to watch. And so,
Oh, absolutely. Trying to get this game down to its lowest possible time.
it's pretty interesting. The history of the game, from a speedrun tech, is that DK48 was the only runner for a very long time, and then when John and I started running Bonk's Revenge and needed a break from that, we both kind of picked up Adventure at the same time. So a lot of bonking for us, and we're gonna try and do some speedrunning here today.
Hey,
So this is. Oh, go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
you want some good bonks, and you don't want to get the bad bonks, right?
That's going to be the goal for sure. Folks, so I'll just going to get it out of the way before I start playing so I don't get distracted by it. But the Trevor Project is such an awesome charity. It means so much to me on so many different levels. So if you can and are able, feel free. I'm probably going to die a couple times. If you want to donate per death, or if you just want to do a straight donation, please don't hesitate. Any little bit helps. It's such a wonderful and worthwhile cause. So getting that out of the way, just how much this charity means to me and why I love this marathon and love this charity. Let's go ahead and start some bonking. So I'm going to give a countdown here. So we're going to start the timer in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck. Let's do it.
Thank you so much. Why don't you tell us a little bit about like the basic mechanics of the speedrun and the game and how they work?
Yeah, and if you don't know Bonk's Adventure or any of the other Bonk games, I mean, where have you been? No, it's kind of an obscure game, but you might have played some of the NES variants. But so you are a caveman. You can bonk your head. You're going to bonk these enemies. You can also bonk flowers, as we just saw right there. And one of the rules of this game basically is you want to stay off of the ground as much as possible, especially if you build up some speed. You can see him spinning across the screen here. And that is intended tech, as was pointed out by a memory, our resident Tasser, is that you can spin to get some speed boost to move across the screen.
Now, the way that the boosts work off the springs a little bit is you can only hit them every other frame or something of that nature. I think Memory Task unveiled that or discovered that, I should say. And so if you see me miss a couple of those boosts off the flowers, that's what's happening. I'm just not hitting it on the correct frame.
Yeah, you could donate per whiff when you don't actually get it. It happens to the best of us. Sometimes you feel like if you're in a groove, you can get him every time. You can see he's struggling a bit, but he's definitely getting it 1 or 2 times after. So one of the other main mechanics of this game is when you get meat, because, cavemen love meat, or as we've discussed, maybe cavemen don't like meat because he gets so angry when he's eating the meat. You're going to have a big speed boost. You're going to be invincible. There's actually 2 stages that you have when you have meat. Is you're going to have like kind of this like dark red state where you move a little faster. Your bonks are going to freeze enemies. Looks like you just missed that little bounce there. And so what'll happen is you'll be able to, if you have double meat, or we like to call full meat, then you're going to be invincible. You're going to move super fast, and that's kind of what we're going for. And we're going to abuse that to go through enemies super fast, get really big speed boosts, and also like totally trash these bosses.
Things that helps is that you want to try to be as in control of your spin as you can, and sometimes it's just not quite possible. I'm on top of the roof right now, so if you are on the ceiling, so if you can't see me, don't worry, I'm still there. We do this kind of interesting, I guess it's like an exploit here, just being on top of the ceiling. The game allows you to be up here, and then you have to clip out of this wall to get out of it. And this is the Uber skip, as we call it as.
Yeah, discovered by Uber Disco. Yeah, Uber skip, Uber clip, the combination of those. And it definitely saves us some time and some safety for like going that bottom route there is possible. And it might even be a little faster, but I see you're taking it a little safe here to get past these uvulas. Those things that are in the back of your throat that nobody really knows what the name is. And like, that's what's going on in here. This dinosaur has a bunch of them for some reason.
And that's actually, I think, the name of them, right? Because you get the name of everything in this game. So
Yeah, they're like uvulalas. The Bonk's Adventure is
Uvulalas, there we
very,
go.
very creative with their naming of enemies. They're almost all puns because everybody loves puns, right?
Who doesn't love puns?
Yeah, coming into the first boss here. This isn't like too crazy as far as tech is concerned. It's just you want to bonk with your head on the top of the boss, and you want to do it as many times as possible. So hopefully Lat gets some really quick hits in here. There's a little trick we do is to bump up so you can get on top of that boss as soon as you possibly can. Looks like you're doing really good here. Just a few more bonks to take off this like to break into the skull, and there you go. We've now saved this dinosaur that's apparently a buddy of ours.
Okay, I'm getting a chuckle because there's a no pun emote that just really cracked me up in chat. So there you go.
Not everybody loves puns. We'll try to be respectful, but there's probably a lot of puns in this game.
So one thing, if you've never played a TurboGrafx-16 or a PC Engine, and as it was known in Japan and other places in the world, you actually have turbo switches in the controller. So all the spinning that you see is actually with the turbo engaged. Now, if you play this game on Wii Virtual Console or emulation, you can actually just kind of like map a turbo button to one of your buttons. But when you're playing on the original console, like myself, although today I am playing on Mister, just to let everyone know, I'm still using a TurboGrafx-16 controller, so I'm having to switch the turbo on and off to do all these types of some of these things. So.
Yeah, and it's really tricky because one of the things you're going to want to turn off is you got to clear these enemies out so you can actually keep moving. One of the things you're going to want to turn on and off is that bonk when you bonk down, because when you're using turbo with that one, you're going to be spinning like crazy like that. It just keeps switching. You'll also want to turn on and off the jump turbo as well. There's like some screens that are really good for using the turbo jump as well, and we'll be pointing those out when we see them.
It happened a little bit earlier, but you'll notice that anytime Bonk is climbing with his teeth, that's actually with the turbo engaged on the jump button. So that's how that works.
Yeah, so they want you to be jumping basically when you're climbing with your teeth, and it can be really slow if you're doing that without turbo. And so just grabbed another big meat here, and so we're going to be using that to get to the end of the level as quick as we can. Maybe get some bonus smileys here. Smileys we haven't talked about yet, but they're just going to give you a little bit of bonus health at the end of the level. Some levels we're going to want to get a lot of them. Some we're just not really going to go out of our way to get them. So in Bonk's Revenge, it's actually something you don't want to get because it will actually be a lot slower when you finish the stage. And I believe our memory has pointed out that it is technically slower at the end of the level because you have to kind of accumulate all your smileys. But for us RTA runners, not a lot of time lost there, just like, frames basically.
And also in a run like this where I haven't been playing Bonk's Adventure as consistently as I used to. And so the extra health that it gives you back is a huge benefit. And we're going to call that like the marathon safe version. Just always a good thing, And even if you're doing this actually, RTA runs, it's a good practice.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like you want to conserve your health in this game, especially round 2 here. Round 2 is a brutally long round, so you're not going to get that health bonus from the boss for a while. So anytime you get these deaths, you're going to get your health refilled, but it is going to be a time loss. It's, you want to just try to keep your health as high as possible throughout the run. There might be some intentional damage boosts, but for a lot of these cases, you're just going to end up getting the health when it's possible on your way.
The room I'm just finishing can be one of the most challenging for me. It's really tough to get through as fast as possible.
Especially with the turbo switches, if you have to turn them on and off, because that's definitely one of the rooms you're going to want to turn them off for the jump capability. So yeah, it's very tricky. Speaking of tricky rooms, this is a very tricky one. I think it looks like you're using some of Princess Za's strats to kind of get through this a little safer, but this is called Race for the Meat, or at least on my split it is. So you want to try to get to this meat power-up as quickly as possible, ideally not getting hit. Having a little bit of trouble here, so he might be getting into some trouble. Here, come on.
Oh, we're gonna do a little backup.
Yeah, maybe you'll get lucky with the bonus meat here with the dragonfly. Sometimes this dragonfly is a little nice to you and actually gives you a bonus
no, it
meat.
gave me a heart, not a meat.
Just a heart this time. Yeah. So anyway, this meat he's getting right here, this is the one he wanted to try to at least keep his meat power up so he could be fully meated, as we say, and then just fly across the screen just effortlessly,
I'm not getting any of these spring boosts.
This is actually just one of the most challenging levels of round 2, so not a surprise that it's being a little uncooperative today.
I have not gotten any of the spring boost. So that's just kind of dumb luck at times, you know, where you want. There we go. Got at least one. Oh, and then I hit. But
There you go. Oh yeah, and you get one that is like really hard to get under that dragonfly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's rough. Yeah, and the
All
reason
good.
you want to be hitting these bushes as quickly as possible. You're seeing these little like dinosaurs, like the compies from Jurassic Park. Oh, there's your meat. There's
I know.
your
Now I
meat.
was
Hit
like,
it
now
now.
I gotta beat. Thanks, game.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, that like everything is very hazardous and treacherous for this level. So you made it through. You didn't die yet.
So on the kind of the thing for this stage is these ropes, and I'm not gonna. You can use them actually to build up a little bit faster momentum, but I'm gonna skip most of them. Just try to. I'm gonna be trying to spin to the jumps, the jump flowers. Spring.
Yeah,
flowers.
and that's not a bad strategy for this because you're going to get a little bit of a speed boost from the vine, but if you can't like immediately figure out where you're going to land, and this stage is all about consistency and takes a lot of practice to try to get to the same spots as best you can. You're going to want to try to grab these power-ups. All the different food items will give you some extra health. But you can see what he's doing right here is he's kind of trying to juggle these frogs and dragonflies and hoping not to get hit too much. Doing a great job so far. So hopefully you get some good frog NG, some good luck there. Ooh, going under the Nessie there. But yeah, so ideally you can stay above everything, just above the fray, and keep spinning through everything. But this is not a bad level by any means. Like dying in the swamp there, that actually hurts you a little bit. That would be the worst, but you made it through. Good job.
It's also the reason that we do some of the juggling strats is you actually do pick up some momentum depending on how you hit on the juggle. Ooh, got the hammer. There's good.
Nice little boost up.
So juggling enemies actually can be gets your momentum going quite a bit faster. Not quite meat speed, but definitely faster than just the normal spinning. And that's when you're trying to speed run a game, always good to be able to go faster.
What's very interesting about this level is the tree is like there's not a set route that we all go down. It looks like he did Lat did a slightly different thing. I think even Uber does a slightly different path. I'm thinking Za and I have like a pretty similar path, but maybe even just like slight variations. But like there's a certain place you need to get to the top, but there's all sorts of different ways to get up there. So you can kind of just choose your adventure there of what you think is the fastest. You made it through made it look pretty effortless there. Didn't get to hit too much, so.
I always love watching Memory's tasks of this game because if you're a task, you can just do like these one frame bounces and ricochets off the ground. You don't even have to use your teeth. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we're not so lucky. But so what's nice about these clouds is as long as you're getting a good route here. Oh, taking a death there.
First death. I didn't even see that enemy behind me.
No, yeah, this level can be really tough, especially if you get just like a little off your intended path. But those clouds are giving you like a boost up immediately, which is really nice because then you can use that to keep your spin going. And it's just kind of a matter of like trying to figure out where the clouds are. Looks like you're getting good bird luck there, as I call it. Yeah. So you're going to get to the boss. So we've talked about conserving the meat for this run, and this is the perfect example of it. You want to take this meat into the boss, like keep that power up for as long as possible because hopefully we can exploit it. Let's see how GLaDOS treats you today, though. This fight is very tricky, and it's actually really hard to tell which one is the right GLaDOS. Oh, just missed the hit too. Yeah. And so the hitbox on this is very frustrating because like if you miss her head just slightly, what ends up happening is that where you get hit instead of her, and this is a very tricky fight, and it's really hard to see. But basically, the one form of GLaDOS goes over the top of the other one. And that's how you can tell which one's the real one and not the one that you're going to bonk and go completely through. Some people might not even know. They think, oh, it's just random. But we discovered, was that Zallard one you said that had come into your stream to help you understand? Like, hey, by the way, it's not just random. Don't just keep trying.
I already had been playing the game for like a year and somebody just pointed that out. Like, what? Zallard?
What?
Okay.
I thought you just bonk on whichever one you feel like.
Dog says, absolutely worst boss of the game. Okay.
So brutal.
I actually think it's more this boss and this, as you'll see here, because the hitboxes, I just don't understand it at all in this boss. We'll get to it in just a second.
Yeah, you're talking about Zilla. Yeah, it's pretty rough. So 3-1 is one of those stages. Oh, already off to a good start. I love to get that flower bonk right there so you can get some good speed. But these red guys here, which I always forget the name. I just call them demon babies. They are really rough. If you hit these guys wrong, and it looks like he's on a good path right here, so hopefully he doesn't get hit. Yeah, really
Oh,
good.
there it is.
Really
There's
good route
the
there.
full
Oh,
health of
sorry.
damage. Yeah,
Commentator's curse. So yeah, a
Right when
full
you-
heart of damage. You just had to show what happens when you get hit. And yeah, not a bad idea to go for the heart here. But you definitely, it's challenging to route through this level without getting hit like 2 or 3 times.
Come on.
But the whole purpose of what we're doing here is we want to hit this bird right here who is not being cooperative, so we can get this big meat. And once we got this big meat, we're going to just hopefully fly through this level mostly unhindered. I probably didn't want to start out on the bottom here unless you've got a new strat.
Just mixing it up, trying to avoid some stuff. So
Yeah, you're kind of hoping that you just don't end up touching the ground because the floor is lava. We don't want to be touching the ground very much. But you can conserve this speed from the meat and keep it going. I don't think we
Usually
talked about
close to
that
the
too much. Is basically whenever you have the most speed in the air and you're spinning, you will keep that speed until you land. Yeah, and this is always a scary jump here, but you're going to skip
literally
2
my
levels.
most nervous moment of the whole run was trying to cross this bridge, and thankfully, I in my first practice run as I was de-resting the game, I missed it, and I'm like, oh, water of shame.
Yeah, that's a really rough one. There's 2 water levels if you don't do that little skip. The skip itself is pretty easy, but it's always those easy skips that you tend to miss when you're doing a run like this. So I remember I had to comment on that for my GQ run because it was just like, oh my god, I'm so glad I didn't get that. Didn't miss that. Yeah.
So it
So
wouldn't
what?
be an 8 or 16-bit platformer if there wasn't an ice stage.
Exactly. What I was just about to say.
Oh.
It's like it's got to be a nice stage.
Yeah.
That was a good backup there. We try to like stay off the ice as much as possible, ideally, but it's rough. Yeah. So again, another level routed around. We want to get these big meat power-ups, and what we're going to do in this one is we're going to try to get some little meat power-ups to keep ourselves at big meat, so we can bring it into the next boss. And this next boss is one you really, really want to have full meat coming into it. So let's see if Flat's able to do that.
You definitely got to move as fast as you possibly can, not get hit the platforms. It's one of the more challenging aspects of this part here. Okay, looks like there. Okay.
Yeah.
Oops. Oh man, it's
Concentrate.
gonna be close. Oh, get in there.
Yeah, I don't know. That's gonna be rough.
Probably not gonna get there.
I think you're gonna lose that like while you're in the air. So you get some bonus hits even if you're at 1 meat, but ideally you're gonna pull off what we call the John cycle, or at least I call it that. The 1 cycle where you can kill it all in 1 attack there. So not so lucky.
Now we're
this
gonna
time.
go. We're gonna go all 3 cycles now.
Yeah, so we get
probably
get
my
to see
least favorite.
the full cycle. Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure you all had, you could all have a full view of what this boss has to offer.
Yeah, just showing off what people have to suffer through when they're playing it casually. And another boss that, like, when you're underneath it is just like one where you just can't get out. So that was a good move, like getting out of the way. Because if you try to like jump up underneath it, you're gonna get hit more than you care to see. All right, we're done. Did not die. Also,
It did not die. This was very close. We have a little bit of heart. But the thing that is challenging about this one is that it's got this the hitbox is just very challenging to find.
absolutely, yeah. It's one where you kind of have to, and especially because he raises his arms on the left and right, and it's random which side is going to be up, and so it's like you kind of want to stay in the center and not get hit by one of those arms, but it's really tough to do that.
Gotta say, I've been talking all through this. This is actually so this stage is not going to have any checkpoints or any different rooms. It's all just one level. So if you had any donations or wanted to read anything, now would probably be a good time.
All right. So before I get into reading some donation messages, I just wanted to plug real quick that we have a incentive coming up for the run after the Shovel Knight Showdown that hasn't been met yet. If we're currently at $155 out of $750 for finding Battletoads at the end of the Shovel Knight Showdown run, which would be really, really hype. So that's going to be active all the way through that run as well. So you have 2 more runs to meet it. I definitely think we can do it. And to help us get there, we had a couple of donations come in. First of all, we had $20 come in for someone who might be familiar. Great John sends in $20 and says,
Thanks, John.
"Good luck, Lat. Deathless run, here we come."
It's commentator and donator curse.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both going.
Hey, still game overless.
That's right.
We also had a huge $236 donation come in from an anonymous donor with no comment, but holy crap, thank you so much for your generosity.
Yeah, that is awesome. All right, so something. Are you done with donations?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, so something that happened at the beginning of the stage that I almost gasped on, because it really stinks when you have low health and you're really expecting to get a meat at the beginning of this level. Instead, you got a big heart. That's a real heartbreaker. No, pun intended, I guess. So that's something you really want to have a big meat at the beginning of this level to try to take it all the way through, because this level it takes so much damage to like everything. Those pterodactyls that were flying around. Now we've got volcanoes going off. It's something fun about the Bonk games is this is a remix of, I think it's stage 1, 2 maybe, and we kind of get remixes of stages that we just had earlier in the run. So. Yeah, this is a remix of that volcano stage.
Oh, yeah, right, exactly. I did consider taking an intentional death at the beginning of the level, but gaming over in the next stage can be really bad, so I decided to preserve the lives as opposed to take it a little bit slower on this one.
Yeah, unfortunately, the lives are few and far between in this run until you get to like closer to the end, and so it's like, well, that's where I need all the lives, like getting into the last parts. Oh, and this is a very tricky fight if you get hit and kind of get off your rhythm, which hopefully you don't get hit again here. Yeah, so this is Punchy Pedro. Punches a lot. Ideally, it's not punching you, and you don't see this happen.
How am I not dead? I thought I was for sure going to die there.
Yeah, this is so close. You're like, oh, there's the death. But yeah, if you can pull it off, you can basically manipulate him into just like keep getting those bonks really quick and tight, and then you might see one boxing glove pop up, but hopefully you won't ever get those punches, because those punches I think it's another one of those, they take like a full heart of damage.
Yeah, it might even be more. His super punch thing is brutal.
Yeah, I'll try not to do it anymore, so I'm not familiar with how much it actually takes away from you. That's really rough when it happens.
It might not be obvious just watching it too. There's this weird input delay with many Bonk games where when you're playing a Mario game, my first game I speedrun was Super Mario Brothers 3. When you press the jump button, you jump. And this game, there's this. It's almost I'm not sure how many frames it actually is, but there is some delay between the input, and so getting used to that kind of timing can always be a little bit fun. And you can tell most of the times where I miss things like that, my timing is just off, and when I'm supposed to actually be pressing the jump button properly.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think it was we both started on the Wii Virtual Console, which I think added another little bit of delay. And I know we were challenged on Bonk's Revenge. We were both like, it's like, oh man, some of the timing of these jumps are really rough. He's doing really good in this vertical section.
When you put it back. Oh, I'm gonna. Oh, I was gonna grab that extra life. Never mind. I was gonna do a little John strat there, where he's discovered you take a little bit of damage and you can iframe through all this.
Yeah, you just get hit by the hatchet, because again, you don't want to get hit by that big red guy. Take away a whole heart of damage. I think what always would happen to Lat in that section is he gets stuck on that flower. So we were both happy to, avoid taking damage and also avoid getting stuck behind something while you're trying to move fast.
Oh, we're gonna do fine on lives.
Yeah, I think you're doing all right now. Things are dangerous in this last section. This something else we forgot to comment on is basically World 5, Round 5 in this one is going to be the absolute longest of the rounds, and it's basically half the game right here. And you're gonna have, well, should we spoil it? A boss rush on Bonk game? Yeah, we have a lot of boss rushes in Bonk games, and this one is what started it all off. It's kind of like your Mega Man, where you have to fight all the bosses again, because we need to pad out the end of the game, right?
So, John, I'm not quite sure how you ever discovered the Bonk games, but I actually grew up with Bonk's Adventure and Bonk's Revenge. So when I started speedrunning, it was like, oh man, I really want to try this game out. I just remember having all these. TurboGrafx 16 didn't really look like any of the other consoles, interestingly enough, back in the day. So, but then it's like, as for a speedrun, it's a lot of Bonk just walking around sometimes. So it's kind of an interesting thing to find strats for it.
Yeah, as you were saying, there's a little bit of delay with the jump. Is if you played this casually, you're like, yeah, this is a really slow game compared to Mario and some of these other games where you can run. Bonk can't run. Bonk has a big head, and Bonk bonks. So you got to spin, and if you want to go fast. So you did really good on that castle level too. I want to say that you had some good bird luck, as I said. I know Princess Za is like really consistent with that. She's got a great setup, which I think I've since stolen, but it is hard to. I mean, is it stealing if it's just we're all trying to get good strats? But
You're honoring the creator of the strat by
that's right. Yeah.
Get a run.
Yeah. Give credit where credit's due. That's it.
Exactly.
But yeah, he got some really good luck and was able to kind of spin through to get to that last platforming section. So yeah. This is one of the trickier rooms in the game. It's just another one where you like, especially if you're on a physical hardware, like switching on and off the spinning and the jumping here could be really tricky. Ooh, got some good luck with that bouncing fireball there. And you want to try to like get above all of this because once you're under those bubbles, you get stuck, and you can definitely get hit a lot in this section too. Which it looks like you're doing good to stay above everything, and also a great idea to be looking for that extra health because you're going to need it for this world.
The room before this room, and the room after this, in my opinion, are some of the toughest platforming in the entire game, and it just it can be very punishing. I'm probably gonna take a death there on that one. No, that wasn't okay. I thought that was a death.
Getting close though, yeah. So one thing you can exploit here is if you get there at a very specific time, you can kind of bonk up the stairs. Like I think I've heard like staircase bonk or like little dino bonk or something like that. You can basically hit every single enemy and then knock out that hatchet guy at the top, and it's really quick. But if you don't get it set up at the right time, then you're gonna struggle to get the right timing for all those jumps. Well, and this room's no easier than the last room, so there's definitely some hard rooms left.
Ooh, we got a good spring boost off of that one, so that's cool.
This is another one where you want to kind of try to time your bonks and spins across the room. That first section was really good though. And there's some safety health. You're probably gonna take this one here. Yep.
I am.
Yeah, take as much as you possibly can. Not a lot of time lost to make sure you have a lot of health for these last couple rooms. Because the vertical room is also not very easy. Oh, and a bonus meat that you probably didn't want.
I just saw in the chat, spin and go fast. Yes, that's a lot of what this the Bonk's Adventure Run is.
Spin to go fast. The floor is lava. Let's go.
Oh, well,
is this? Oh man, yeah. These platforms, I don't think we've called these out, or this might be the first room that we have them in, but they're little like scissor platforms. So as soon as you jump on them, they're gonna open up to try to make you fall. And as we said, the timing is really tough because you want to jump fast, but it's also easy to kind of like jump a little too early, jump a little too late. So this room in general is one that even if you're doing it super fast, looks easy, but it's very difficult.
And this is where I mentioned before that kind of like input delay or slight difference in what other versions, other platformers can really sometimes be a bit challenging, especially if you've played or ran other games. This can feel very kind of weird if you're not familiar with it, and especially this level here, it can be very frustrating.
Yeah, that part right there is another source of randomness. You can kind of manipulate those pterodactyls to go the way you want to, but clearly that was not what Lat wanted to happen there.
Uh-oh.
Oh no! And falling down multiple of these platforms obviously ends up being some of the biggest time loss.
And you haven't earned your Bonk speedrunning card until you've had, at some point, you're going to fall during this section here.
Yeah, absolutely. But thankfully, that's that hard section done, and we've got a little bit of a break here. This is what we love to call donation hallway. So if we have any more donations, perfect time for it.
Welcome back.
Sorry, I've just been enjoying the run so much. I wanted to take this moment to talk a little bit about what we're raising money for here. So we are raising money for the Trevor Project, which is the world's largest suicide prevention and crisis intervention organization for LGBTQ, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and questioning young people. The organization works to save young lives by providing support through free and confidential suicide prevention and crisis intervention programs on platforms where young people spend their time. They have a 24/7 phone lifeline, chat, text, and soon-to-come integrations with social media platforms as well. They also run Trevor Space, which is the world's largest safe space social networking site for LGBTQ youth, and operate innovative education, research, and advocacy programs. And so all of your donations are going to be helping Trevor Project work on all these specific projects. So again, thank you all so much for your donations so far. Yeah, and like I said earlier as well, make sure you're all checking out the Shovel Knight Showdown incentive we've got coming up a little bit for the next run. which is going to be showing off the fight with the Battletoads. That's still sitting at 155 out of 750 for the goal, so we still definitely have time to make that. So hope to see some more donations come in for that as well.
Going to pause the run for just a second here, folks. There's about to be some flashing lights, so if you are sensitive, please look away. And I do want to just echo that the Trevor Project, such an amazing charity, literally out there and saving lives, folks. So anything you can and are able to, thank you so much for donating and making their work possible.
Yeah, such a great cause. So why we call that donation hallway is you just kind of walk through there and you're like, what's going on here? And there's just some statues of the bosses you fought in the game. Well, we might be fighting these bosses again, as we said there was going to be a boss rush. But so let's see if we can take this meat into the boss rush. Oh, spoiler alert! Sorry, there's going to be a boss rush. But basically, we're going to be just falling down back to right where we just were, which seems a little silly, but. So he's trying to keep this meat power up because this is like really tight timing, and if he can kill this first boss really well, he can carry that meat power up into the second boss, and that's really what we want. Oh, and that is a really tough break to get, like we said about hitboxes. This is a really tough hitbox to nail, and especially yeah, and you can see that now because of that hit. The meat power is all gone, making the Gladys fight extra long, which we all love a long Gladys fight, right?
Sure.
yeah. This one is especially tough because you have to get that meat power coming into this fight. You cannot get a double meat power up unless the task does some crazy stuff to potentially bring that in there. But yeah, it's some really tight timing anyway. And trying to get to this second phase is always a challenge, but doing really well considering you don't have the meat power up. So, and now we just gotta get her to come over here.
You want to end up beating all of the bosses towards the left of the screen because you're closer to the exit, so it's less time wasted walking.
Yeah. And as we talked about this Congozilla, this is another challenging fight. This one's even more challenging because we don't have meat coming into this fight. So you just have to do your best to not get hit constantly by his arms raising up here.
And also start spawn, which is that's you can get it. There's some strats here you're seeing to get some extra hits as he's despawning through the ground, or as he's spawning through the ground, jumping through the ground. So.
Yeah, and as you were talking about, kind of keeping him further to the left. Uber Disco had pointed out to me is like you can get him like basically all the way to the left, and you have like almost a more consistent spot that he'll jump from, and that helps immensely to try to like get that fight done quickly. But even then, all best laid plans always seem to go to crap here when you're trying to.
No kidding, I actually felt pretty lucky on that one. That actually wasn't a terrible fight for.
No, it was great. Yeah, let's see if we can get a rematch against Pedro here. That's a little faster. Still better than last time because like any of those big punches, yeah, perfect. See, and you can see what that meat power up does to make that fight a lot easier.
So much faster. That is actually one of my it's probably my favorite boss is Punchy there, but at the same time can be frustrating, especially during a speed run losing time there. So.
And the chat they said wall chicken is nothing on wall heart. Yep, we're busting open these blocks to get some power ups. Very smart.
Life there, but it's like,
yeah,
okay.
I think you're going to be good on lives because unless something goes really, really bad on Drool, you should be okay.
John, are you cursing? Is that what's happening here?
Am I cursing?
This is a run now. Commentator's curse has happened twice.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I don't want to be cursing. I was like, wait, what did I say? Trying to keep it PG here, folks. So you're seeing this is actually a really good pattern so far, but like he was mostly staying out in front of it. It depends. Like actually, yeah, that was a perfect place to end it because you have to wait for those little boxing gloves and other things, projectiles to travel all the way up to the brainwashed Za up there. So this is the real Za. So, and this is our plot dump for this the game right here. So pay attention. Yeah.
There's a plot in this game. What? No,
yeah. Well, we're going to the moon, so we need to save the moon because that's what had happened here. Is everybody had gotten brainwashed from Moonland.
We'll take some health here. Just, you know what? Why not? Let's just grab the extra life. Don't need it probably, but you know what? We're gonna.
You know what? I think you do need it.
Thank you, John. That's what I need. Hey, folks, just a heads up. There's, as you're noticing, blinking lights all over the place. They're flashing lights that they can be kind of bright, so please beware if that's your thing.
Yeah, and there's going to be a couple more of those. Lat's always really good about pointing that out. Though. So,
And,
as we said, we're going to the moon.
Tell us a little bit about Drool, because this fight can be frustrating as all get out, especially if this is your first time playing the game.
Absolutely. So the Drool fights in all the Bonk games are actually very frustrating. So this is the first one, but it is just as frustrating as all the rest. So we're going to have two forms of Drool here. You can only hit Drool on the top, and thankfully this first form is a little easier to get on the top and hit him. But even then, we still kind of have to bonk on the top of him so that we can continue to hit him. I like to call this Constellation Bonk because I'm guessing that's what they're going for, this little yellow outline. But you can have your own interpretation about what's going on here. But we're going to see the full form here soon. Yeah, and those fireballs are doing nothing to help you with this. But now, the second form of Drool, even harder than the first form, throwing these tridents is just kind of landing wherever you just happen to last be standing. So you're going to see Lat kind of running around the room here. You'd think that based on his movement that it'd be easiest to just sit here and spin and try to hit him as much as possible, but you actually have to kind of time your bonks in order to hit him fastest, because as soon as you hit him, he starts to fly away backwards. So very frustrating fight. Doing well though. Looks like you're not going to be losing 4 lives. I would hope not.
no 4 lives of shame. Oh, we're about to have time coming up here too in a sec. So
yeah, time will be when the screen flashes again. So watch out for that as well.
Of course, there's another darn dead. Dang it.
See, that one definitely was my curse. Yeah, but you hopefully won't be dying too many more times.
These tridents are just kind of ridiculous. So it's oh gosh, come on.
Yeah, basically as soon as one is out there, it's just going to keep piling up there and just keep getting worse. So not a bad idea to be clearing them out. So it should be any hit now is going to do it for him though. And do we have it? Do we have it?
No, not yet. Still
getting close. Yeah, and this is really tricky because of the fact that you have to damage boost to get up on top of him. So as you're seeing, it is very easy to lose lives here. So
there we go.
And there it is. That's time.
One of the can be the challenging or frustrating things about that fight is that to get up there, you have to hit the top of his crown. You have to take damage to do so. And as a game, that it's so frustrating when you have to intentionally take damage to do something. But and one of the things that I've always loved about this Bonk's Adventure specifically, because the other games don't necessarily have that, is during this, we won't go through the whole title sequence, but the credits, but when you do, they actually show you the name of all of the characters and all of the enemies and all of the trees and everything like that. And it's just kind of a cool way to reward you for beating the game, but then also showing you, hey, what are all these things called and everything. So it's pretty cool that way.
Get a common language for what some of these bosses are called.
Well, I've seen a lot of friendly and familiar faces in the chat. Thanks you all so much for watching and hanging out with us and letting us play some Bonk's Adventure. For those of you who don't know, I mean, you probably do, but there's so much work that goes on behind the scenes to make marathons like this happen. So everyone at Power Up with Pride, I just want a big thank you for everything you've done to make this marathon be awesome. And as we're getting closer to 15 grand, folks. So I'm sure we can do it today. I know we're still out there trying to raise money, and this is always awesome already that we're over $13,000, but we're over. I actually don't know what's the total now. I didn't even actually refresh it. So
over 14,000, yeah.
We're over 14. Nice, cool. So let's get to 50. Let's keep this thing going. John, thank you so much for helping out. And I don't know if you'll ever return to Bonk's Adventure, but thanks so much for providing some commentary.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, thanks for asking. Great. It's great that we got the run in too.
Quick shout out, if you do like TurboGrafx-16 or Bonk's Adventure, there's 2 different Discords. We have a TurboGrafx-16 Discord, we have a Bonk's Adventure, we have a Bonk's Discord. Very friendly. You can just go on speedrun.com. The links to there are all there if you want to join us and hang out and chat some games and stuff like that. Jack, so thanks so much for hosting. Thank you, everyone. And let's get to 15 grand. Let's keep this thing going, folks. Everyone, hope you have a good rest of your Sunday and enjoy the rest of the marathon. Tons of great runs coming up. A lot of friends and familiar faces coming up. So stick around. Don't go anywhere.
All right. Thank you so much, Lad. What an awesome run of Bonk's Adventure that was. Holy smokes. And thank you all for all the love in the chat and the donations and everything as well. It's been a real great time so far.